Okay, my brothers and sisters. Anyway, if you have a life policy, please pay attention to this quick video. And I just want to mention something that is just occurring to me as a trend that we're noticing right now within our community. And I feel like talking about it so people will get to know because it's a potential problem. So if you have a life policy or you have some form of insurance somewhere, please pay attention to this video so you can make the necessary adjustments or the necessary corrections if you can, right, within your policy. And I think the reason is because we're not being told, somebody is not telling us, right, or the people that are helping us taking out a policy is not really, shall I say, asking the right questions, or sometimes we take it ourselves and we don't know it could be a potential problem. I'll go into what non-disclosure really means, but I think maybe the better idea would be to do like a 7 series video on 7 reasons why insurance companies do not pay. And one is non-disclosure. It's the biggest reason they don't pay. One is the biggest reason is non-disclosure. Now, having said that though, quicker disclaimer, having said that, insurance companies do pay out a lot of money. And thankfully, I can give you some stats. So there's a lot of people that get paid out on life insurance, but it shouldn't be like that because a life insurance, I mean, life insurance is life insurance. In my opinion, it should pay out almost everybody, but it's not the case. But the biggest reason we are finding is non-disclosure. But then we're finding, I don't know about other brokers, but I'm personally finding this a lot within our community, the Black community, mainly because sometimes we are a bit embarrassed to share some information. Sometimes we forget. Sometimes it's like we get, shall I say, maybe the person dealing with us do not ask, so we just don't say it. Sometimes we take it ourselves and we just tick, and we're not paying attention, right? I've done it before. It's not like I've not done, but thankfully, I review my policy very regularly, so that's always up to date. So non-disclosure is basically the fact that you said something to us. You did not lie. It's not a lie. You told us the truth, but you didn't tell us everything about the truth. Like when your child tells you, oh, I stole candy from there, but they don't tell you that they took 2 or they took 3, right? They just said, I stole candy, but they didn't really disclose exactly what they did. Same situation. So you enter into a contract with somebody and you don't tell them exactly the details surrounding something. Now, this usually happens if you have like a health condition, or let's not even put it that way, or you drink or you smoke. And I'm going to give you an example, right? And insurance companies are very strict on non-disclosure because it's a contract between you and them, okay? Now, the first example I'm going to give you is and these are real life examples, by the way, okay? And the first one is a client, one of my colleagues' clients who took out a policy. Now, they're not Ghanaians, who took out a policy, I think a couple of years back. Now, when they took out the policy, the husband died within the term. And so I don't know the exact sum amount, but it was quite substantial. So they were actually wanted to claim. So the woman called and were like, we really want to claim. And we were like, yeah, that's fine. We help people do that usually, so we can help you do that. And we're very confident that this woman could make a claim and they'll be paid out because there was no reason why they shouldn't get paid. Unfortunately, the insurance company came back and said, no, we're not going to pay on this policy. This is after a few days or a few weeks. Now, this was a devastating blow because think about it. This woman will have children she has to deal with, and all the financial burden is on her now. So she has to deal with all this headache, and she also has to grieve and mourn her husband. But unfortunately, that cannot happen because there's this financial barrier in the way that just won't go anywhere. And it's a huge, massive issue. And I know my colleagues started talking to underwriters so they can pay at least some form of, shall I say, funeral benefit out of the life or something like that. I don't know how far they went, but all I know is that the insurance company came back and said, nope, we're not paying. Now, why did they say they're not going to pay? Now, apparently, the man, the man used to drink, but he did not disclose the fact that he used to drink. He did say, oh, I've had a couple of drinks, but that was a long time ago, but I don't drink. Now, that's a serious case of non-disclosure. He actually did not say he drinks. So And you know, this country, they will do autopsy, they'll do all the checks, they will find out everything. And then the underwriters take that report and they look at that report. They checked, they noticed there was quite a lot of alcohol in the man's body. He was not just drinking one glass occasionally or drinking just this much. He was actually an avid drinker and he had problems with his liver. So that's a straight up non-disclosure. You are not getting your policy paid out. So that's a huge, massive problem. Now, I don't know how they dealt with that, but usually when a brokers cannot help a client claim, it's a pain. It's a pain for us too, because once somebody claims, it helps us. You know, the person goes out, yeah, I made a claim, it was successful, and these people helped me a lot, and it was really good. So we don't have to do so much work in marketing. However, when there's not a claim, it's a devastating blow. Apart from the fact that there's a lot of emotions going around, this headache is there that the broker has to live with, and it's devastating. So brokers want you to get paid. So usually we try to do the best thing, but sometimes we may not be. That's why I'm mentioning this, so that everybody can watch out for it. Now, the second example is a policy I did for one of my clients recently, and she's had this policy for like 3 years now, 3 or 4 years now, and she's been paying. Now, this is just this week. Actually, we just completed a couple of days ago. Now, it turned out that when she was doing the policy, when the policy was being done, the person who did the policy for them just assumed the woman didn't smoke. So he did not disclose it and he did not ask the question. However, he asked the husband. So the husband disclosed, because both of them know the husband smokes. We had to do that policy all over again. And the reason being, if anything had happened to that person, that means the surviving parent wouldn't have received anything because they didn't disclose. Luckily enough, we're able to spot this on time and fix it. Although it costs a bit more, but we saved them a lot of headache, maybe 10, 5, 15, 20 years down the line. Okay, so this is the non-disclosure. Non-disclosure is basically you're not telling everything around the situation. I'll give you another example, right? Maybe you said you broke your leg, but you didn't say that you're using crutches at the moment or you need aid to walk. Still some type of non-disclosure. Now, if the insurance company did not ask the question, it's a different thing. But if the question is there, there's a reason why they're asking. And every time we make a disclosure, there's always more questions that's come underneath, because the insurance company wants to know they are not taking on any liability or any risk that was pre-existing before they entered into a contract with you. So it's very important. So what I'm seeing now, which is a trend now, is that a lot of people are actually not telling everything. Now, this is the most common one. They went to see the GP in the last 5 years. I'm saying last 5 years because the insurance was specifically asked for the last 5 years. And there's a reason why they asked that. Okay, you went to see the GP in the last 5 years. We don't know why you went. Maybe your ear was hurting you. Maybe your hair was falling out. We don't know. You went to the GP, but they specifically ask, did you go to the GP in the last 5 years? A lot of people skip that question. And some brokers don't ask, right? But it's very important, because once you do not answer that question truthfully, they want to know the last 1 year, 3 years, 5 years for a specific reason. All right. So if you've taken out a policy in the last 5 years and you went to see the GP, let's say there's nothing wrong with you. Maybe you were a bit drowsy or you were stressed, and stress is another one. People do not disclose stress. People don't disclose stress. Maybe you went to work, your manager was stressing you out, you didn't want to know, and so you went to the GP and you went to say, I'm stressed. And then the GP gave you some time off, gave you a little note, take 2 weeks off because you're stressed. Big problem. If you don't say, I went to see the GP for stress, even if they did not give you medication, you have to disclose it because you went to see the GP. And insurance companies hate mental illness. They don't like it. There's only 2 or 3 that like it. And if you have any chronic mental illness, or you get depressed easily, or you get stressed, or you're on some form of stress medication, may not be a strong one, or maybe you're going for therapy for this, we need to talk, because this is very important. Insurance companies don't like that, okay? So there are few that would like it. If you don't mind, if you would take it on and still give you standard terms and still give you an insurance policy with as normal as everybody else, but it's only a few. Okay. And so you need to go back to this policy. So I want you to think about the time that you took out your policy. If you took out your policy, especially in the last 5 years, and maybe you went to see the GP in the last 5 years, I'll give you another example, right? I had a policy with a company, right? I don't mind saying it. I had a policy with Royal London, and during the last 5 years, before the pandemic, no, during the pandemic, so 5 years including, so that's 3 years before, I was driving a lot and I didn't hurt my leg, I didn't hit anything, and my leg just got swollen out of nowhere. And my wife kept insisting, go see the GP, go see the GP. I'm like, it's nothing. But I couldn't walk, it was so painful. So go see the GP. So I go and I see the GP. And the GP looked at my phone and said, oh, it's nothing wrong. It's maybe probably blood clot because you were driving so many miles and you refused to stop. And that's what I did. I refused to stop. I just drove for hours on end. And he said, okay, this is what you do. Elevate your feet and blah, 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 blah. They did all of that. And so I went on my medical record. Thankfully, I wanted to claim. So I called my insurance company and I actually made a claim. They gave me a nurse. The nurse was helping me out and going through the processes with me, what I needed to do with my foot. Now, I was surprised this had already hit the insurance company's system. They already found out that this is the issue. Now, when it was time for me to review the policy, they actually asked me that you've been to the GP and this, then this. And I was fortunate because I'm a broker, so I speak to the underwriters directly. And they were saying, okay, you, based on this, we know you made a claim on this and your foot was this. How is it now? They did not, thankfully, they did not load it and they did not reject it. They only said to me that, oh, because of this, it was pre-existing before you took out the policy, so that's fine. But it's good you mention it, at least we know. So once a review was done, it had to be included. And thankfully, it was nothing major. But then that meant that I have disclosed it. If I had said, oh, it's nothing major, I don't have to mention it, it's all okay, it's fine, it went on its own, I didn't even have to take medication, I just rested, that would have been a non-disclosure. And they would have turned around at some point and go to me, sorry, we're not going to pay you your income protection because you did not tell us that you went to see the doctors. So non-disclosure is a big thing. So I'm saying this so you can correct it. So what you need to do, take your policy and usually they will send you a copy of your answers, what you told them or what you told the broker. They will give you a copy of it. You need to look into that copy. You need to make sure that all the medical questions that you answered are just as you answered. Because sometimes people play dirty tricks, okay? You want to make sure you've looked into it. Okay, I said no, I said no, I said no. Oh, this is meant to be a yes. Then you contact the insurance company and make them fix that. Because once it's on your medical record, there is no way you're going to go around it. It's not going to happen. Okay, this applies to every single policy you may have. It could be income protection, it could be life, it could be illness, it could be health, anything, right? Any policy, pick it up, look at the answers you gave, because you should have a copy, right? So once you find that and you see everything is okay, you can then leave it knowing that you've answered all the questions rightly. If you haven't, right, then that policy needs to be redone. If you haven't, they will ask you to redo it. If you call them later on and say, oh, sorry, I omitted this. Oh, sorry, I didn't realize this. They still have to do the policy again. It has to be a restart. We have to do this whole thing all over again. That's why I had to do that couples policy again, because it's non-disclosure, it's now a new policy. So if you find yourself in that position, you do not know what to do, or maybe you took it a long time ago and you don't remember what exactly happened, please give me a call or call your broker, right? Or just reach out to me and ask the question. If we can work around it, we can work around it. If not, then we have to speak to the insurance company and see what they can do about it. But regardless of everything, it's important to say truthful than to regret later. Anyway, God bless you. So as promised, I would make sure I deliver on those videos on 7 reasons why insurance companies do not pay out. Anyway, God bless you.